right, guys, welcome to another exciting Leads to Deal podcast where everything we talk about leads to deals and we talk about everything from leads to deals. I'm proud to be joined here with Scotty Tregellas. He is the CEO and founder of All In Credit. He's going to talk to us today about how we can help business owners kind of credit stack, travel hack, all the things that they can do to get more capital into their business, and all sprinkled with the flavor of sales. Scotty, thanks for coming on today, brother.
Thanks for having me, Scott, man. Appreciate it.
Dude, I see you online and I see you're a bit of a character, dude. I'm attracted to guys like you. You know what I mean? You have that confidence. You have that personality. There is no other Scotty. And listen, we're both Scots, but you Scotty. You know what I mean? Like, and by the way, is your birth name Scotty or did you just add the Y to it?
Yeah, it's Scotty. Yeah, people ask me, do you want to be called Scott or Scotty? I'm like, well, I have a Y on my name, so we'll just go Scotty.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. I love it. I love it, man. So I guess, I've done some research. I've been following you for a while. I do consider you a bit of a character, man. I think you're a great communicator online as well, too, as in person. So if you don't mind, man, this is an all sales related podcast. How long have you been using the power of persuasion to put dollars in your pocket? And then we'll talk about how others can do the same.
All right. So I think dollars in the pocket started in 2017. Man, I'm just a regular blue collar worker from the Midwest. I'm from Kansas, Oklahoma. I was a traveling welder. Was in a bad motorcycle accident. Was put out of work. Couldn't walk for about a year, and I did everything: welding, construction, built homes. Didn't know what I wanted to do, and in 2018, I got my first wholesale deal of $80,000.
So you started in real estate. That's kind of like your first sales job where you pivoted from, because you were a welder, which means you were just a blue collar dude. You fucking went to work early and you came home dirty, right?
Yeah, very dirty. Very dirty.
Okay.
Yeah. So that motorcycle accident ruined my life, ruined my credit, ruined everything. But I knew I wanted to get into real estate, and I got ripped off. Someone stole, money and didn't help me at all. So it obviously didn't stop me from achieving the goal that I wanted to achieve, which was getting into real estate. I figured out how to repair my own credit, and I went from like 532 to 741 in less than 2 months. And that allowed me to get access to credit. And then I invested in my first mentorship program, which was Cody Sperber's, way back in like 2017. Paid 10 grand for that, maxed out personal credit cards, and ended up closing $80,000 in assignment fees the very next month.
Good.
Yeah.
That's a lot, and I need to break it down a little bit because I want to go. Did you not look at real estate as like a rich man's game? Like, dude, you're a fucking welder. You're crashing bikes. Let's be honest. We're fucking the people that society overlooks. You ain't supposed to be anything other than a guy who fucking comes home stinking every single day and worrying about paycheck to paycheck. So how'd you pick real estate as something that you felt that you were even worthy of doing? Like, how do you even know about it? How do you go from I'm a welder to I'm actually going to have a portfolio of assets?
Yeah. So I never really thought I was worth it. And maybe that's just the way I grew up. But I did grow up watching my stepdad develop brand new custom homes all over the country. So I kind of went back and forth from my mom and stepdad to my dad. And my stepdad, he developed like Sun City, Summerlin, Las Vegas, really in the 90s when it blew up, Hilton Head Island, South Carolina, like Sun City, Phoenix, Edmond, Oklahoma, right? And he developed literally thousands of homes. So I loved real estate. I didn't know anything about it. I just knew I loved real estate. That's when I found out about wholesaling, right? So in this time where I wasn't working, I couldn't walk, I was in YouTube University. I learned about wholesaling. Well, and then I had to repair my credit, which I did that, right? So it's kind of both businesses that I've accomplished was really aligned with each other without any direction of, I have no idea where the hell I'm going with this, but I was just educating myself. I repaired my credit. Great. You know what? I need to educate myself more. That's when I bought the mentorship program. That's when I started wholesaling.
How'd you afford that, man? If you got bills out the asshole because you're, geez, let's be honest, like you wrecked a bike. How fast were you going on the bike?
130 plus.
Bro, what are you even doing here talking to me? You like, bless, right? Like, let's just pause for, yeah, like that's great. So, but you got medical bills out the ass, and how are you affording to even invest in a Cody Sperber, or how are you able to make all this happen? How are you able to even afford going to debt?
I couldn't.
Yeah.
But I had nothing. I literally had nothing. You know, there's a photo out there of the house that I used to live in. It's a just trailer house. It's actually ripped
Yeah.
up by a tornado. You know, that's where I lived when I first started like educating myself. And
Okay.
then when I closed my first wholesale deal, I was actually homeless. I was living in a camper in the middle of the woods. So I couldn't afford it. But what is less than zero? It's debt. But I'm not scared of taking risks. And I found out I can get access to credit, right? I was able to get access to credit cards way faster than I would have ever been able to save $10,000. Makes sense. So
Mm.
I used that credit cards to invest into knowledge, and that was the mentorship program that I purchased.
Yeah, that's great, man. But that, so you did two things simultaneously. So your back's against the wall, you're living in a trailer, your medical bills are through the roof, you cheated death, whether you were supposed to or not, right? Like you did, here you are. And so you can't be more assed out than you probably were at that time of your life, right? Like, would you say that was the lowest of the lows?
Yeah, I had nothing to lose. Yeah.
Yeah.
Going through a
Dude.
breakup at the same time. So literally no job, like I lost that job, lost everything,
Yeah.
everything. I had nothing to lose in getting, and I did not have like a financial literacy. I have never had a lot of money or anything. So being able to have those credit cards, that was a lot to me. But remember, as a visionary, we have an end goal and we're committed to that. I wanted to get into real estate. So instead of going out and buying stupid shit with credit cards, I maxed them out, paid Cody Sperber.
Dude, I love it. I see guys like you, and I think, man, you know how many people there are? They're in very similar situations, and we've all came into it. There's so much strength at rock bottom, because like you said, it's like, where else are you going to go? Like, if you don't accept a defeatist mentality, nobody can take anything from you because you're already there. And it's just like balls to the wall. But a lot of people, it's make or break, man. And so I'm proud of you. You know, I've been, like I said, I've been following you for a couple of years since I've been in the space, and I've watched even your growth in the past few years. Like it's been really great. And I know people that you've helped grow as well too. So let's talk about kind of your first deal. So you paid Cody Sperber. You're helping rebuild your credit and starting to work on that world. Do you remember, like, everybody always said, oh, my first deal was this big deal. Your first deal was genuinely a big whale too?
Yeah, yeah. 80 G's.
How'd you have the confidence to even talk to the seller? Like, did you have any sales experience, or did you just go through it just dumb and then you got it in? Or like, when do you start realizing like, oh, I'm a sales guy. Like I'm going to make it happen.
Yeah. So, man, you don't really think about like, oh, this is a sales skill. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know it was a skill. I didn't know talking to people. I didn't know being confident and carrying yourself in a certain way was a skill. That's just who I am. And I think it all just goes to being authentic, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you like me, then I can sell you. Right. So I'm just going to be true to my authentic self. And that's really what I was in full transparency. Right. So within that deal, it was, an older couple wanting to sell 5 properties in a hot spot in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They wanted 500K. Great. Awesome. Found a buyer that was willing to sell it for or buy it at 580. Awesome. It was a very smooth transaction deal, very easy. I really had no idea what the fuck I was doing throughout the whole thing, but I did it. Right. I
Amen.
mean, yeah, it was just being authentic really is the whole sales aspect. And then I didn't really realize I was that good at sales until I started hiring people for sales. And then I was like, wait a minute. First of all, how do I teach you? And how do I
Yes.
even know if I'm worthy of teaching you? And then it's like, oh, wow, this is just natural. I don't know how to teach sales. I'm not a sales expert, but anybody around me will say that I am just because it comes so fluently, right? When
Yes.
you're confident about what it is you're talking about, then staying true to your authentic self, that is sales.
Yeah, dude, I think about what you just said. It's two big, powerful points for anybody who's listening. Number one is you took massive action. Like you didn't let your back stay against the wall. And then number two, for everybody who's afraid of like, hey, I don't have sales skills, I say this from the bottom of my heart. Sales is merely a transference of feelings. So you didn't have the tactics, but you had that transference of feelings where like, hey, you're somebody and I can help you. Hey, you're somebody, I'm a good person. I'm a good person. I'm here to help you. I'm here to be in a business. But all you did is made them feel the conviction that you felt. You may not have known how you did it. It's not like you did neuro-linguistic programming and I set up a trial close and I did an alternative choice option. You didn't do any of that. You just made them feel good about the transaction. And that's why I tell people is you can sell with conviction until you get to the strategies of the sales. Then once you understand the strategies, you can kind of train and you can scale and you can do all these other things. But you literally sold with passion first.
Absolutely. Passion first. And everything else after that, just like you said, it can be trained, right? You can get better in certain aspects of sales. Like, oh, hey, tonality, mirroring, right? Yes, that comes natural to some people, but that's something where you can learn how to mirror someone's energy, right? Tonality, pitch, everything like that. You can learn that, right? So as long as you're being true and authentic and passionate and understanding the needs of the person that you're speaking to, everything else can just kind of flow and grow as you go.
So I been in high ticket sales for 20 some years. My first 10 years were like at really aggressive sales tracks, and we would have these vehicles, if you would, set up. And I say vehicle sales process set up where it was like a fronter and then a closer, and then there would even be like a downline closer in case they didn't transact there. But one of the top women at this track that I worked at, her name was Ann Gorman. She had been in sales for 14 years. She was a monster. When she was the closer, she would always come over. She was a position of authority. Whenever she got a sale, no matter what, she was always brand new to the customer. And so what she did is that psychology of being new, even though she was an expert, even though she was actually a closer, if you watched her on the table an hour later, she always presented herself to the customer as brand new, because when you're brand new, you're less repulsive. Like customers would rather work with a newbie than a sales shark. Customers are okay if you fumble over some things if you're new. And so for those guys out there that are like, oh, I might have imposter syndrome about picking up the phone, or I might do this. Guys, leverage the fact that you're new as your benefit, because a customer, genuinely speaking, would much rather talk to an imperfect, genuine newbie than a well-oiled, slick, shark closer. And that's how you get to your first deal, is just being your imperfect self.
Yep. And that's where I tell people, it's like, look, if you don't know anything, it's okay. If
Amen.
you make them feel like you are human, they're willing to work with you. It kind of blocks down their walls, their salesmanship safety walls. Hey, I'm just a human. I'm here to serve you. How can I help you with XYZ, right? It doesn't matter what you're selling. It kind of co-aligns with the whole thought process of, and this is kind of where I gained my first confidence. Wholesaling was, they need me more than I need them. Therefore, it kind of took away the clouds, the anxiety, the stress, the being scared. Like, you need me. Well, how can I help you? Boom. And then from there, it gave me a sort of confidence. And then of course, authenticity, and just understanding their situation, being human.
Yeah. One of the guys that introduced me to your guys' vertical, his name's Alex Cazada, and he used to always say something. He said, I run a solutions-based business. And I had to really adapt to that, because I was coming in like closer, close, just smash. And it's like, no, these guys, you do in the REI space, for the people that are listening that aren't familiar, we're talking about like wholesaling and exchanging contracts and really helping distressed sellers out. And so, yes, it helps to be a sales granimal, but ultimately you are finding a problem and you are solving that. And then it's knowing the right solution. And that's what you're saying there. It's like, hey, listen, they need us more than I need them, because you know what? Their daughter does have a drug habit and she has let her boyfriend stay at that house. And now there's squatters in there. And it's like some of these stories that we hear that if we'll just be human, they'll open up to us. It's like monster problems. And I don't know if you know who I'm sure you've heard of Zig Ziglar, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So Zig Ziglar's got a quote: if you help enough people get what they want out of life, you can get everything that you want out of life. And that's exactly what you're talking about. It's like help first. And so, dude, You've mastered that. And I watch you, dude. I've seen you scale other people's businesses. And so like you got this beautiful butterfly effect now that I've seen where like you're helping other people get more capital, and therefore they're now helping more people get out of their properties, or they're helping more people in their businesses. So before we get to the end result, so you started wholesale. How long ago was that first deal?
See, I think that was December 2018.
Okay, boom. So you watch the market go up and then crazy and sideways and lateral and shit. How are your feelings on the wholesaling space now?
You know, wholesaling space is good now. It's consistent, but it's been a freaking roller coaster ride, man. I mean, I lost 2.3 million the month that COVID hit. 2.3 million closing pending assignment deals that month. Completely lost all my marketing resources, literally everything. Started completely over, went back to driving for dollars. But it was fun because everyone else wasn't willing to go back to square one, starting over, right? So it was good. We scaled, and that's when, you know, I linked up with a good friend of mine, Nick Perry, and Robert Winsley. I was one of the first InvestorLift users. Went nationwide, and yeah, now I'm out here in Vegas. Got a team here, you know, doing the wholesaling stuff and really just focusing on providing more value to people to scale their businesses through like credit and credit hacking and credit stacking, right? Because I would not be where I am today if I wasn't able to figure out how to repair my credit and then get access to that $10,000 to be able to invest in myself in that educational program. So it's like it was actually when we met at the Cartel Boss Summit a couple of years ago in the Dominican Republic, I realized I was the only person there that flew first class using credit card points, right?
Oh,
yeah, and it's like, wait a minute, everyone here is freaking baller wholesalers. How are you guys not doing this? And then, you know, I'm talking to people who are also spending a shit ton of money monthly on PPC. They're using their checking account, or they're using some credit card that doesn't reward them in any way. And that's when it really clicked, right? I was really diving in with people like David Old. What are you using for PPC and credit cards? Ryan Pineda. Hey, what are you doing with your points? And nobody knew anything to do about credit. And I was like, wow. So they scaled this much without leveraging credit. Imagine what they could do if they knew exactly what credit cards to use. They had access to, you know, 6-7 figures and 0% interest credit. But it goes deeper than that. From that time, that's when I realized I need to create the program that I use every day for my businesses for high-level entrepreneurs, right? People like you, like Nick, like Ryan, like Robert Winsley, right? I'm helping all them do all 4 of the aspects, but then it's like, wait a minute, how can I help people who are just like me? I could not, and this is where it flipped. I was like, could I afford me when I first started? No. I'm doing a disservice to thousands of people, doing a disservice to people like me, people where I came from, right? Blue collar people. They can't save up $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 to pay for a educational program. So that's when I decided to create an educational program, leaving no secrets behind, giving away everything that I know for just $2,000 for life.
So let me ask you, your program where you've grown now and what you're able to help people with, are you more focusing existing business owners optimize what they're already doing? Or is it the other side where this guy's like, hey, listen, they need their first stroke of, business credit, or they need to be able to get their first chunk of business capital to take them to the next level? Are you with the already established or helping to get established?
Good question. So before, when I was a service side, it was the already established. Well, Now it's everyone in between. Starting now, even if someone doesn't have an LLC, no worries. Literally, it's probably more beneficial if you don't, because now if you're starting off the right way, and I can just kind of blueprint and build the journey, the blueprint for you specifically, starting the right way. Like I didn't start the right way.
Right.
But someone starting off brand new.
What are you doing with these guys? Are you helping clean up their credit? Are you helping them establish business credit? What's like in a nutshell? How are you helping these guys?
All of it. So for example, if a business owner comes to me, or someone who wants to start a business, they come to me, hey, I don't have good credit. I need credit repair. Great. I'm going to teach you how to repair your credit in less than 5 days. And now I'm going to teach you how to get a 740 plus credit score in less than 30 days. Sound good? Okay. Well, you want to be a business owner? Great. I'm going to show you exactly how to create an LLC and make it credible and lendable to banks, establishing business credit around that EIN. And then once you have that good personal credit and the good business credit, now we need to leverage those and go create relationships with top tier banks, right? Relationships are very important when asking for money, right?
Sure.
So I teach people how to create these relationships, give them all the data points they need to apply for the right cards in the right order, even what to put on the applications to get approved for the highest limits. So I'll literally tell them on the personal side, you need to apply for this card, this card, this card, this card, how to use those cards, and even on the business side as well, right? So for example, Cartel Boss says, hey, you need to be using the Chase Inc. preferred card on your marketing because it's going to give you 4x rewards. Or if you're okay with the charge card, you need to be using your Amex Gold card for marketing. Anything else, use it for marketing? No, right? So it's like, I will repair your credit, establish your business credit, get you access to the right cards, and teach you how to use them so you're getting the most rewards. Why? Because when we want to go see Scott in Colombia, we're traveling first class 100% free. Yep. Using credit card points. So I was just in Norway for a month with Robert Winsley. We both paid credit card points. So mine and my wife's flights were $29,000 just there. I paid $101.
I love it.
So
yeah, that's great, dude. Let me ask you this. So, but there's a guy out there as a marketer. His name's Frank Kern. He's an old school guy, but he's somebody I really looked up to as I was coming up in my generation. And he used to talk about stacking the cool. And stacking the cool is where like you have this core product, but then you have all these ancillary things. Like, so you start with credit repair, and then you have business, and then you have, bank alignment, and kind of the things that you were saying. And these provide more value almost than this one that you don't even, you're like, okay, that's cool. Let me get all this other stuff. The core thing that people talk about is credit repair. But I know there's a lot of scammers out there. It's the credit card flipper boys. There's a lot of scam going on right now about sending in false police reports and all this other shit when it comes to credit repair. How are the scam? How do I know when somebody's giving me advice on credit repair from a guy like you versus the scammers who are just running Instagram, hot rips? What are they doing? What's the worst way? What are the things you don't do on the credit repair?
Man, it's funny because there's this, I hate this industry because it's the industry where people get taken advantage of the most, right? And that's literally why I started my company. That's why I started, servicing people on the credit repair stuff. One, because I figured out how to do it. And then I realized that there's value with it. If you don't need it, someone who does, right? Mm-hmm. So you're just one hand away from someone who needs your service. Yep. And I started that because I was ripped off. Right. And the guy literally said, there's a photo out there, a screenshot. He said, if you think you're the reason why you got those results, then you should probably go start your own credit repair company yourself. And that's what I did. So I've helped over 1,000, people, business owners since then. But the thing to look out for, and I actually created a reel about this too, is do your research on that person, right? Don't answer cold DMs. And ask them, hey, what do you know about credit? Ask them very specific questions about your situation. And also ask them what your credit score is. I'll show you my credit. I'll show you what I have, right? Like, I'm not here to hard pitch anyone. I'm not here to sell. Look, I have the answers. If I have your answer, great, I can help you, right? So just watch out for the scams. Really, that's all I have to say. And I try to tell people, I give more than I receive. So even like on one-on-one consultations free, I'm literally telling them the whole blueprint, the whole map. Hey, look, this is exactly what you need to do. This is how we're going to do it. Boom, 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 boom. And then we'll fine tweak everything once you're a client, So I just give away so much that people don't really see me as a scam. And I've had a lot of people come to me on TikTok. You just look like the most trustworthy dude. I'm like, cool. You know,
Well, dude, and I'm not going to drop names or anything, but I know one of the biggest credit repair guys out there is actually on OnlyFans selling the credit repair stuff. And so, but you subscription to the course out there. And, but you see, it's like, hey, listen, I don't know enough to know enough, but I know that there's a lot of credit card scammers. There's a lot of guys that just bounce around and like, hey, this is the hustle and this. But somebody like you, where that's a component, it's not the whole thing. The credit repair leads to this, and it allows you to do this, and allow that to me. And again, I know direct ballers who use your services, who optimize their spend. So like I can at least speak for that side for sure. But I know there's a lot of people out there that need the help, and so a lot of times people just take advantage of it because there is such a big pool of people. For you today in your business today, the actual name is the All In Credit Company, correct?
Yeah, all in credit.
So what is the New Money Movement? What's this?
New Money Movement. That's actually a brand that I started a long time ago. Haven't really done much with it, but really, New Money Movement, the concept is to encourage people, no matter where you're from, what you've been through, race, religion, sex, it doesn't matter, that you can create your own wealth, right? And it's people like me growing up the way I grew up. I'm not supposed to be where I am today at
I
all.
know.
I've been homeless and on my own since I was 15 years old. My parents are addicts, in and out of prison. I am not supposed to be here. And like, there's people like me all over the country, right? And there's two type of people: people who grow up like that and turn into a victim mentality, or people who realize that's not the life that I want, and then they become freaking lamasus, right, in the industry, straight killers. And that really, I want to encourage people to look. Just because you're from a small town of 200 people in Southeast Kansas, your parents are drug addicts, in and out of prison, you're homeless, you're barely past high school, didn't do shit with your life, doesn't mean you can't leave and become something great, right? There's so many people who need to know like the true story of entrepreneurship too, right? We see everyone on TikTok, once they've made it, once they've created their success, once they're successful, then they're on social media talking about it. Well, let's get on and let's talk about the struggles. Because if you tell me how many times you failed before you became successful, you've just encouraged so many more people out there to not quit the first time they fail. And that's what the New Money Movement is.
Dude, I love it. Yeah, I think a lot of people out there underappreciate exactly how long the journey is. And also, it's okay to work for somebody. It's okay to be an entrepreneur inside of somebody else's business, having that mindset, getting your resources together. Not everybody out there, and that's one thing I've tried to create here, is an environment where entrepreneurs feel comfortable, part of a movement. And that's why I love this. It's like, it's the New Money Movement. The reality is that there's more people out there that are successful that started from nothing than there are that already had that head start. Because most people with the head start, they just go down in this direction versus us. We got to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. We got to learn how to communicate. We got to be self-disciplined. And you're not going to be self-disciplined until you've kind of hit that bottom and you realize I can either continue down this one pathway without the discipline, or I can become disciplined. I can fucking sacrifice a little bit, and I can go out there and bust my ass, because there's a lot of talented people with poor work ethics who are broke as shit. And then there's a lot of guys like me who don't really have the greatest talent, but I'll fucking work ethic around you. I'll run laps on you, son. Not you, but you know what I mean in general. Like I don't got a lot of talent, but I got a work ethic that'll murder most people out there.
Yep. Bring
Cool,
that
man.
blue collar work ethic to the entrepreneurial scene. Killers.
Dude. So what do you see your company going over the next year, man? Like where you what is going to go with All In Credit? What is your goals? What's your aspirations? When we check in a year from now, how many people have you helped? What's going on there?
Yeah. So really, I've created the program officially about 2 months ago.
Love it.
We have just around 100 people in so far. It's growing fast. Never done any sort of paid marketing, 100% word of mouth, affiliates. Winsley and I were talking. I think this year, 2024, my primary focus is just to sponsor as many events, travel as much as possible, and just provide as much value as possible. So That's my goal. My goal is 1,000 people, 1,000 people within my community, so I can
Nice.
help 1,000 people start a business, scale their business, or buy a business.
Yeah, man. Dude, I love those numbers. I can tell you one thing I know about Robert Winsley, who is the founder of Investor Lift, which is a really awesome software platform for the REI space, particularly on the wholesaler investor side. But that guy right there knows how to hack a growth and be in that brand more than any other person. I've never seen anybody hit the ground and rocket ship up like that guy did, and taking a great product and getting the brand awareness that it deserved. There's a lot of great products that nobody know about, but that one, not only is it a great product, but he was able to bring that exposure. And I see your guys' relationship online, and I'm like, yo, that's a great alignment. And he also wouldn't align himself with anybody who's not doing it the right way or doing the right thing. So it's nice to see you guys together like that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Scotty, so I don't have a referral link, and I don't really do the referral links, but I want to make sure they find you. So where did they go? Where do my affiliates go if they need more capital? And let me take 2 steps back. It takes money to make money. It's true. You want to make more, you're going to spend more in marketing. And so there's a lot of guys out there that are struggling at that 1 to 2 to 3 deals a month in the REI space, and they just need to infuse more PPC, more cold call, more text. Instead of waiting for that lead life cycle and trying to be able to get that ROI, you can help them get more capital to invest in themselves, correct?
Yep, that's exactly what we do.
How do my clients, how do our listeners, if they need more capital to invest in marketing because they're ready to rock and roll, how do they find you to get more capital?
You can find me on any and every platform at Scotty T, just SCOTTY, TREELLAS, on every platform: YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, everything. I'm very, very in my DMs, right? I'm very responsive, so I will respond to anyone and everyone that is me in there. And then also just allincredit.vip. You can schedule a call with myself and my team. We give more value in the first call before anyone pays, right? We want to know what your story is, and I want you to know that we can help you get where you're trying to go with your goals. So
if somebody's got good credit and they have their traditional credit lines out there, a couple of little credit cards, how long does it typically take before you can make an impact where they have access to additional capital, assuming that they got fair credit to start with?
Yeah, so fair credit would be around 680 plus. We're getting people just personal loans right now upwards to $170,000 immediately in liquid cash. But if you had around a 720 plus, we can easily get access to 150,000 in business credit. But remember, my goal for everyone in my community isn't getting you more credit cards; it's getting you higher limits, right? So I'm a chess player, right? We think long term, and for anyone in my network, I want you to have $1 million in credit, not just $250,000, right? So depending on your situation, if you got good credit, you got established business credit, you have an existing business, our average credit stacking sequence is $223,000. And that can happen. I mean, if you've got that good credit now, that can literally happen within the first 30 days. Our biggest sequence was 512,000 in the first 30 days with one woman.
Wow. That's great, man. And for people out there, that safety net, that extra vote of confidence in your marketing budget, it's literally the difference. And so one of the things I always say is you can count on your competition's mediocrity. And most of your competition out there, they don't have a guy like Scotty T in their back pocket kind of coaching them on how to maximize and optimize their debt and then their credit limits. And so by adding you into that, therefore they're different from everybody else in their market. And so if you don't know, be the first to your market to have Scotty T, allow him to kind of scale you up from there, and then invest those marketing dollars back into yourself, because that's how you grow a business. And so, dude, I love it. I'm super thankful that you came on and spoke with us for a couple of minutes. I'll make sure that all my affiliates know about you here over the next number of days, my man. I'm very, very proud to call you an amigo, man, to watch your journey, and then hopefully we connect some more as time goes on.
Absolutely, brother. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. You're very welcome.